Hi everyone, welcome back to my lab. Today I'm experimenting with 6 items from the brand new Fenty Beauty line by Rihanna. I, like everyone else in the makeup community, was really highly anticipating this launch and I wanted to try as many products from the line as I could. I was a little bit nervous because I realized that this line is it appears to be more geared towards oily skin types, and I am a dry skin type, so I am going to guide you through trying on a bunch of the products that I purchased, applying them on my face, wearing them for 8 hours, and then giving you my thoughts afterwards. But before I get into any of that, I did want to say how impressed I was with the launch. Everything launched sort of at the same time at midnight Pacific time. I was able to look at everything with no problem on my phone and using the Sephora app. I was lucky enough to be able to be in the store at 10 a.m. on Friday, and there were a lot of people huddled around the kiosk for Fenty Beauty, but I was able to go along and purchase absolutely every item that I was interested in. And if you're interested in joining me for this little experiment, then just keep on watching. So because I am a dry skin type, I was recommended to really prep my face for the application of the soft matte foundation. So I applied my moisturizer as well as my primer, and for my primer I'm using this one from Hourglass, and this is the number 28 primer. I did apply it all over my face, but I did concentrate it around my smile lines and my forehead where I have the most creasing and fine lines. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the foundation. I'm going to use both a brush as well as a beauty blender to see what I prefer. I picked up my foundation in the shade 270. This one is described as a medium skin tone with warm or peachy undertones. I tried it on in the store. I do recommend, if you can get to the store, to go ahead and swatch them on your face. It dries down very, very quickly, and so you can see if it's going to blend into your skin or not. With 40 shades to choose from, matching yourself online can be a little challenging. So I have shaken up the foundation, and now I'm going to take maybe 2 or 3 pumps. Alright, so that was 3 pumps. I don't know if I'll use all of it, but we shall see. I'm going to start with a beauty blender because normally that's how I apply my foundation for the most part. I've heard that this sets quickly, so I'm going to do one side at a time. I'm also going to go for as little product as possible because I'm not normally a full coverage kind of girl, and this is supposed to be medium to full coverage. I think this is a perfect match for me because I honestly cannot tell where I applied the foundation. I mean, my skin is just evened out a lot. So that was one layer applied with the beauty blender. I'm going to try the other side with a brush. I do always like to go in with one of these flat foundation brushes just to swipe it on, and then I blend it out with a traditional foundation brush. The foundation brush I'm using is an IT Cosmetics brushes for Ulta, and this one is the number 101. As I have experienced with most foundations, the application with the brush is a lot more full coverage. If you can see, my discoloration is usually in this part up here, my upper cheek. And then I do have moles, and I don't really worry about covering up the moles. I've had them since birth, and so they don't really bother me. Now this was the side that had the beauty blender, and you can see that there's a lot more discoloration visible up here. I also feel like I used a lot less foundation on this side, so I'm going to go ahead and even it out. As I was blending with the brush, I did notice that it was drying very, very quickly. So again, when you're blending this foundation, I do recommend that you work as quickly as you can. So I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit more in the areas where I feel I need it, and then I'm going to blend that out with the beauty blender. Alright, so I don't think that 3 pumps were necessary. From the amount that I pumped out, I still have some left. The foundation match was so good, I don't feel like I have to go down my neck. It does look a little bit more pink than I'm used to. I usually prefer more of a yellow undertone, but I think that the color match was really, really good. And I have heard that when it dries down, it does dry down to a slightly darker color. So let's go ahead and move on. The next product that I have to try are the match sticks. I have the match sticks, and I bought mine in the medium tone. I was originally going to select individual sticks, but they were $25 a piece, so it was actually much more affordable to purchase one of the trios, and I did find one that would work for my skin tone. So I'm going to highlight first. Now, the beauty advisor in Sephora did mention that this product could be used as a concealer, even underneath the eye. Now, my eyes are incredibly dry, and I have a lot of fine lines under there, but I'm going to go ahead and try it. The shade that I picked up up is called Bamboo. So before I go into the under eye, I'm going to highlight the places I normally would, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply it right from the stick. I think that's a great shade match for me. I'm going to go ahead and blend it in with a beauty blender. Alright, hopefully you can see that I'm not having any trouble blending it out at all. Alright, so I'm a little nervous to swipe this directly under my eyes, so I'm going to use a MAC 249 brush and sort of apply it with a brush instead, and then I'll blend it out with a beauty blender. Alright, so I've gotten very close to my eye, and then I will just apply a little bit underneath directly from the stick. Alright, so I wanted you to see one eye done and one eye not done, just for comparison. Now, I think that the shade is really, really nice. I don't think that it's fully covering up my dark circles, but I have such dark circles. It's just an ongoing problem for me. Ordinarily, I would go in with a color corrector first, but because I wanted to test the products without any additional help, so to speak, I did not apply it today. I'm just gonna add a little bit more here. One nice thing that I do notice is that going in directly from the stick, I'm not having any trouble with my foundation moving around. So I don't know if I'm imagining it, but this side does look a lot brighter. I do have the creasing, but again, that's normal for me. I will apply some powder as soon as I do the other eye. So I'm gonna try to go in directly from the stick. I am going to set my under eye as I normally would using my Too Faced Primed and Poreless powder. Just want to make sure that the concealer is as blended as I can manage. Alright, I'm really loving it so far. I think that I have never had as good a foundation match as this. I don't know how it looks to you guys, but it's really nice. It's wonderful that she has so many shades. So I'm going to go ahead and contour. The shade of contour that came with the medium kit is the Mocha shade. Very nice cool tone. I'm going to go ahead and try to blend it out with a beauty blender. So the cream contour does blend out nicely. It does have a very nice cool tone brown. I would ordinarily blend that out with a concealer brush, but I recently washed all my brushes and they're over there drying, so I don't have access to them right now. But even using the foundation brush and the beauty blender, I really like the effect. The highlight shade that came with the medium set is the shade Trippin', and I'm actually not going to use this today since I did purchase a lot of highlighters in the line and I want to give those a try. But this is what my complexion looks like so far. The only areas I set were underneath my eyes. Everything else is just sort of the foundation itself. Now, to me, it does feel a little bit tacky. I've heard that this is a self-setting foundation, but on me, it's not fully set. I'm actually gonna leave it for a little while longer while I apply highlighter because I want to see if it does set on its own. So I actually purchased several highlighters from her line. The first one is this one, and this is in the Girl Next Door and Chic Freak. Now I'm going to try to apply all of them just to get an idea for how they apply. So I'm going to start with her highlighter brush. I'm a makeup brush junkie. I have to buy a makeup brush every time I go makeup shopping basically, and with a new collection coming out, I cannot resist getting at least one, and since this was the more unique one, I just had to have it. Alright, so I'm going to try this shade right underneath. The reason why I selected this shade is because it seemed to have a combination of cool and warm. So if you notice when I apply this one, it's kind of a frosty pink shade. So that one is the Girl Next Door. It does give a very nice natural highlight. I like how it applies with this brush as well. So here's this side that has just the matte highlighter, and here's this side. Let me even myself out. Alright, so that's this one. It's more cool tone, so I found this one to be the more versatile of the shades. Now, I did notice that this brush seems a little bit right-handed. I don't know if that's just me, but when I apply it on this side, it feels like it's going on perfectly. But then the other side doesn't have the same effect. I feel like I have to turn it, and then the application is slightly different. I don't know if that's because the brush was in the box or what the case may be, but I did notice that. It would have been nice if it had been symmetric on both sides so that you can get that application. Just a note, just a note. Now I'm going to go in with Chic Freak, and this one was more gold tone, and I'm going to apply that higher up. The highlight shade from the stick has a little bit of a pinky tone to it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on my face as well. I'm gonna put it more in the apples of my cheeks. Alright, so I would not suggest applying the sticks after you've put down the powder highlight, which is kind of a given anyway. I just got highlight happy and I wanted to apply everything to my cheeks. I'm going to apply a little bit of the lighter shade, the Girl Next Door, to my brow bone. Now, the collection doesn't have any eyeshadows, and so I think I'm going to use that contour shade in my crease. Alright, so I think I've emphasized my non-existent crease. And now on to what I feel has been the star of the show. Can you guys look at that? Is that not incredible? I've never seen a highlighter like this. Well, let me put on my eyes first. I'm just going to use a flat shader brush. Now, I don't really know how this is going to look on my eyes, especially because my whole vibe is kind of cool tone right now. Wow, that's pretty incredible. That is so pretty. Even as an eyeshadow alone, that is so unique. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put it on my cheeks. I'm loving my makeup so much. I'm so scared that I'm going to ruin it by putting this as a highlight, but all in the name of science. Wow, that's intense. Wow, gotta pull it back a little bit. Oh, wow. I don't care what, that's gorgeous. I don't think that my lighting is actually doing it justice. That is pretty incredible. Oh my gosh, this smells like Kool-Aid. Alright, well that's everything that I got on my face. I'm just going to add some mascara and maybe some waterline brightener, but I'm going to wear this for a few long hours, film a couple of other videos, and I will be back with my final thoughts on the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna collection. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the rundown of all the products that I applied. So first of all, the foundation. This was a perfect shade match for me. I'm glad that I went into the store. When I was able to swatch it on my face, it dried almost immediately and I was able to select the correct shade for me, and that was 270 in the Pro Filter foundation. I didn't experience any problems with the foundation oxidizing, but again, I went in store, I swatched, I allowed it to dry, and then I picked out my shade. Now, interestingly enough, this is supposed to be a soft matte foundation, and I wouldn't say that my face really looks super mattified. It could be the effects of the highlights, but I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer so that you can see what the foundation looks like after 8 hours of wear, which to me is a full day, and for you to see where the trouble areas are. Alright, so welcome to my face. So I am a very expressive person. As you can see, even as I'm talking, you can see sort of the smile lines. So that is the location where the foundation has sort of settled. So you can see right here in this area, that's where I get the most creasing. So that's normal for me. Actually, I'm actually surprised that with a matte foundation, that is all that I have. Now, I have not blotted or blended or touched up in absolutely any way. So what you're seeing right now is really after 8 hours of wear. So I think that's pretty good. My other trouble spots are more along my forehead here. You can see that my forehead lines are massive, and I didn't notice that I had any real problem in my forehead, but I apply a lot less product there. I don't need as much coverage on my forehead area, and I know that I'm prone to creasing, and so I avoid that. So again, my trouble spots are here on my smile lines, but other than that, the foundation is 100% intact. It hasn't really started to break down, and I'm really happy with it. Alright, the next products that I applied were the Match Stix Trio. Now, it's interesting, when I was selecting my products, I actually wanted to skip out on the concealer stick. I'm glad that I didn't. I did enjoy the contour shade. I found that it was pretty easy to blend out. You can see that I still have a very nice contour from the shade in Mocha. And I think that if you enjoy cream contouring, then this would be a product that you could enjoy. They're also very versatile, so you can select a warm tone shade, for example, and use it for cream bronzing. And it's very nice that you can sort of go ahead and apply it right to the face, and you don't have to worry about your foundation moving around underneath it, at least as far as the Fenty Beauty foundation is concerned. For the concealer shade, I have mine in the shade Bamboo. So this is another product. I was hesitant to apply it straight to my face, but eventually I did, and I didn't run across any trouble. I didn't think that I was going to like this because just from inspection, it's very thick concealer, and I really need something hydrating for underneath my eyes. I was able to use it and the result is okay. I really wouldn't recommend it for that purpose if you have more mature skin because it was prone to creasing and I did set it. Now what I did like this product for was for highlighting actually. So I was able to highlight my forehead, the bridge of my nose, my chin, and then just underneath where I would normally apply concealer, and I think it's really good for that purpose. Actually, the highlighting effect was really nice, and it did blend with the foundation very well, so I did enjoy that, and I'm glad that it came in the trio. The next one that I had was the shimmer skin stick, and mine was in the shade Trippin'. Now, I really like this shade. I wouldn't put this over powder, however, because when I tried to apply it sort of as blush, after I had applied highlight, it emphasized texture and it looked a little bit thick, but I think that as a highlight on its own, it's a very nice option, especially if you're looking for a more natural effect. I think that this one was really nice, and again, I'm glad that I got it in the trio set. And the packaging is super cute, like with the magnetic attachment, it's just you can have your whole collection together all in one piece. So next I want to talk about the highlighter, and the highlighter that I want to talk about first is the split pan one. I purchased mine in the shade Girl Next Door and Chic Phreak. Now I really enjoy this highlighter, even the one that is supposed to be more muted, which is this shade right here, that's Girl Next Door, actually showed up really nicely on my skin. I really enjoy the way that it looks, and what I really like about this particular highlighter over the other ones is that to me, this was the most distinctive over all the shades that were there. There was one that was definitely going to be too dark for me and another that was definitely too light. Now I have the option between this one, which is a little bit more pink, and the other one, which is a little bit more gold, which is the one everybody's going nuts over. But I honestly don't regret purchasing this one because I feel that it gives me the best of both worlds. I didn't feel that the highlight was glittery or that it emphasized any texture, although when I try to apply cream over it, and again, I don't normally do that, but I went crazy, I wanted to try everything. I thought that with cream over it doesn't look very nice, but by itself, it looks really good. I did use it with the highlighting brush, which I mentioned had that sort of funny shape and it feels like it's kind of lopsided. So I think I finally figured it out after looking at the product a little bit more. I think you can actually apply your highlight in this direction and then turn it over and apply it in this direction. I did like it. I don't think that it's on the level of my Anastasia A23 brush, but I think it's a really interesting one and I'm glad I've added it to my collection. I do really wish that I could use it in this direction on both sides, but I don't feel that on the other side that I could. I wish it was symmetric, but I understand it's probably meant to be used this way. The next item that I wanted to talk about is this other highlighter, and this one is the Trophy Wife, which I think a lot of people are calling the star of the show. And it is definitely the most unique of all of the products in her collection, along with that highlight brush, which is also very unique. You know, I think it's a lot more wearable than people would like to think when just looking at the packaging and the product in a swatch. I think that if you go in very lightly, you could obtain a very nice highlight, even though it definitely has a golden glow to it. This makes a beautiful eyeshadow and I am wearing it on my eyes today. I did have to touch this particular product up. I didn't use an eyeshadow base and it was creasing on my eyes. I do have hooded lids and that's just a challenge with my eye shape, but I think that if I were to use an eyeshadow base and then this on top, it would look stunning. So it makes a beautiful eyeshadow and a little bit more wearable of a highlight than most people would think just looking at it in the pan. The last product was the lip gloss, and I am wearing it. I did have to touch up. It did not survive a meal, but that's not surprising for a lip gloss. I think it's a pretty shade. It's comfortable. It smells really nice, and it gives your lips a very nice sheen. I like it. I'm not so much of a lip gloss person, but as far as this one goes, I think it's nice, and I will enjoy continuing to use it. Alright, so as far as my experience with the line, I would say that it was a positive experience. I don't think that you necessarily need all of these items in your collection. I think again the most unique one would be this highlighter in the shade Trophy Wife. I think that this product would be unique in any makeup collection. It definitely is in mine. So I think that if you wanted to pick up the most unique product from the line, then this would be it. But I do think that the star of the show is going to be the foundation. I'm really surprised at how it wore on my skin. I really can't say that I would really fully call it matte, but then again, I'm wearing so much highlight that the dewiness and the glow that I have going on could be more from the highlight than it is from the foundation. But I think that the fact that the foundation was such a nice match and that it hasn't really creased more than what I would expect from even my Holy Grail foundations, I think that it's really nice to have a more mattifying option for more mature skin with more fine lines on the skin, and I really like it. I would say that definitely go in store and swatch them out so that you can find your perfect shade, maybe even ask for a sample so that you can try it out and see what you think for yourself. All of the other products were very nice. I don't think that anything else was super unique. This packaging is very unique, but again, makeup is supposed to be functional. It definitely is pretty. I think that if you enjoy cream contouring, you would enjoy this. And if you do enjoy cream contouring, then you might enjoy the concealer stick as well for highlighting. I think that's the way that I'm going to continue to use it. But I wouldn't recommend the concealer stick for underneath your eyes, especially if you suffer from creasing. I just think that there are better concealers out there for that purpose. But as far as highlighting your forehead, your nose, your chin, all that, it was really great. Even the tops of your cheekbones, it was a really nice matte highlight, and it had a really intense brightening effect, which I enjoyed. So that's it for my review. I didn't really have any fails, but then again, I was very cautious with my selections and I knew sort of what I wanted to try going in. For example, I didn't get the blotting powder. I'm not an oily type, and so I didn't purchase that, but my daughter has combination oily skin type, and so that was one of the standout products for her. So again, it's a very personal decision, and definitely pick and choose the pieces that you want. I think everything that I tried was fine as I used it. I think that all of these products are geared towards a very natural finish, so it is more things that you're going to be using for no makeup kind of days, with the exception of the highlights, which can be quite bold. So let me know what you picked up from the line. Let me know what product most excited you and how you've been getting on with them, as I would love to know. And if you have any tips on how I can also continue to use my little collection here, then let me know. All right, so those are the conclusions of my little experiment here. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it informative and that it helps you make a decision if you were weighing the pros and cons of the Fenty Beauty line for a more mature dry skin type. And if you found it useful, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and let me know if you enjoy review videos so that I continue making content that you enjoy. If you are new to my channel and this is your first time here, I'm really glad that you joined me. I hope you'll consider to subscribe if you do enjoy weekly content on makeup and beauty, and I would be happy to have you. So with that being said, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Don't ever be afraid to experiment with makeup, because you can always wash it off at the end of the day or immediately if necessary. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very, very soon on my next video. Bye!